What's going on, lads? It's Billy the Kid here, and I hope you're having a great day, and thank you for joining me for another War Thunder video. And in today's video I'm going to be explaining to you the differences in the 3 different game modes that is available to you in War Thunder in both the aircraft and in this video specifically the tanks. There's 3 different game modes. There's arcade, there's realistic, and then there's simulator. So in today's video I'm going to be going over the different play styles that you're going to need to use in order to play the 3 different game modes. But first off, before I start on today's video, let me just go over very quickly something I missed in my previous tutorial video, which was explaining a bit, just basically all the basics you need to know if you're new to War Thunder, including the customization, the crew skills, etc. Now let me just bring your attention back to the crew skills. As you can see, I've still got my Tiger 1. So one thing I completely missed while covering the crew skills was qualifications. It's the last tab on the crew skills tab, and you'll notice here qualifications basically means that you can upgrade your entire crew. That's the driver, the gunner, the tank commander, tank loader, radio operator, to a different type of skill. So all your tanks will start off as basic, but then once you've upgraded your crew level, you can upgrade your crew skill to expert and then on to ace after that. To upgrade your crew level, you have to spend, or I should say earn, crew XP points, and then use those XP points to upgrade all your crew members. So your driver, your gunner, etc. You can upgrade all their skills like keen vision, field repair, vitality, all the unique ones available to each crew member as well. And as you spend points, you'll notice that your crew level is going up. So right now it's plus 13, plus 14, whatever. The more points you spend on your crew, the more your crew level will go up, and you have to get a certain amount in your crew level to upgrade your entire crew. So once, for example, for this Tiger 1, it has to be, if my memory serves right, it's 200. So once you've got 200, you can then upgrade from basic to expert, I believe it is, and then on from expert to ace. So that is just what I wanted to cover, and it's fairly simple. And once you have upgraded your crew from basic to expert, you will get a bonus. So once you have upgraded, if you go back to your crew and check out the different crew members, you'll notice that it's got plus 30 beside most of their skills, and that will give you a basic bonus over all the different crew members in their skills. So it's very useful to have. It'll upgrade your tanks, mobility, the gunners, the loaders. It'll increase everything is basically what it means. But keep in mind that it does cost a lot to upgrade from basic to expert, and in this case I haven't got enough silver lines, so I have to go back into the game, level up that way, get more XP, and then I can get enough silver lines to upgrade from basic to experts. But that is pretty much all I want to cover on the qualifications. I completely missed it, so I really wanted to explain in case anybody's wondering what does qualifications mean. So with qualifications explained, let's get to the root of today's video, which is the difference in game modes and the different playstyles you're going to have to adapt in order to earn the most XP and do well on the battlefield. So let's start off with the most popular game mode out there in War Thunder, and that is arcade battles. Now in arcade battles, you have access to all your vehicles that you have in your deployment tab, whether it be planes or tanks. In this case, I am starting off in my Tiger 1. Now in arcade battles, the gameplay is very much simplified. The speed and maneuverability of your vehicles is slightly higher than in realistic or simulator battles. For example, in the tanks, they're a bit more faster, they're a bit more maneuverable, easier to maneuver, and the firing of the tanks is far more simplified. When you're aiming down your sight, you'll notice there's a small little reticule with a cross. Now that cross will tell you exactly where your shell is going to land, and when the cross is on an enemy vehicle, if it's red, it means the shell will bounce off the target's armor and it won't do any damage. When the cross is yellow, it's a 50-50 chance. It sometimes will penetrate the enemy tank's armor, sometimes it'll just bounce off. And when the cross is green, it's a 100% guarantee that your shell is going to penetrate and do heavy damage to the enemy's vehicle. Now this game mode is not really for me, because the fact that everybody can use all their tanks, no matter what tanks they are, they can use them all. And so it's very chaotic. It's very much, some people like to call it the clusterfuck, because everybody's got access to all the vehicles. Now, personally for me, I don't really like using arcade mode because for me it's just a bit too easy. But if you're a casual gamer, if you're not really up for earning a lot of XP, maybe you just got home from work or school and you're just into, you know, getting into a very quick game of arcade, then this is for you. It's a lot of fun, I have to say. Even though it's a bit more arcadey for me, it's a bit more simplified. I prefer realistic, but that's just for you. Arcade, like I said, is the most popular game mode out there. And to get into an arcade match, it'll take you around maybe 15-30 seconds depending on the tanks you're using, on the tier of tanks you're using. So if you're up for a very quick game, arcade is for you, because it'll take you a long time to get into a match of realistic or simulator battles. So that is pretty much arcade battles explained. The kind of playstyle you're going to need to adapt is pretty much, you know, it really is down to you. You can play cautiously, or you can play just outright, let's go straight at them, charge the enemy type of playstyle. It's really up to yourselves. So that's arcade battles explained. Let's move on to realistic battles. Now, the biggest difference in realistic battles compared to arcade battles is the fact that you are only able to use the vehicle that you have selected in the main menu. And that is the vehicle that you're going to be using. It's the only one you have access to. So if it gets destroyed, that's it. It's game over. You can't just switch to another tank that you have in your deployment. Now, in realistic battles, the little reticule that is available in arcade battles that tells you exactly where your shell is going to land, that's gone. So you now have to basically judge for yourself how far the enemy is and where to aim on the little gun reticule to try and get the shot on target. It won't tell you if your shot is going to bounce off his armor. You'll just have to hope for the best that you're aiming in the right area. But the player's labels is still visible, so you will be at least able to see where the enemy tanks are without actually physically seeing the tanks themselves. You'll see the little labels pop up and you'll know, okay, there's a Panzer IV or T-34. I'll just wait here, aim, and hope for the best. Now, in realistic battles, you're going to be put on two different teams. In this case, it's the Germans versus the Russians. And the spawn system in arcade battles is very random. You can be spawned on numerous parts of the map, basically. It's all completely random. Whereas in realistic battles, depending on which country you're playing, the spawn system is fixed. So you will spawn on one side of the map and it's always going to be on that side of the map. In this case, I'm playing on Kuban, I believe. And the Germans always spawn in the southwest, I believe, southwest, and the Soviets always spawn in northeast. Whereas in arcade battles, it's completely random. Sometimes you could be on one side of the map and other times you'll be spawning on the other side of the map. So it's, like I said, it's completely random. Now, in terms of the play style for realistic mode, you have to be extremely cautious because of the fact that you only have one vehicle to play with, and in some cases, you know, depending on what tier you're playing as, you will have maybe 2 out of 2 tanks or 3 out of 3, but in case of the Tiger 1, you only have one Tiger 1, so you have to be extremely cautious of enemy players due to the fact that you can see them and they can see you and they can take you out extremely easily. So I would recommend, if you're switching from arcade battles to realistic battles, just play extremely cautiously. Don't go all gun out and, you know, don't go gung-ho and try and win the battle by yourselves. Stick with your teammates, communicate with your teammates, and you will eventually win the battle. Also to note is the fact that you will earn more XP or silver lines in realistic battles that you do in arcade battles. It's not a whole lot more, but it's still a little bit of a boost in order for you to go and play realistic battles over arcade battles. So that's realistic battles explained. Let's move on to the final game mode, which is simulator battles. Now, simulator battles is like realistic battles but on steroid. The biggest difference between realistic battles and simulator battles is the fact that you can no longer see where your enemies are. Those little labels telling you how far the enemy is, what type of tank they're driving, etc., those are gone, and you will actually have to see where the enemies are. And this can be very difficult if they are operating tanks that have, for example, tank destroyers, and they have a custom camouflage on that helps them blend into the background. This can be extremely difficult to play on. Another point is the fact that when you are playing in realistic battles, your viewpoint is that of the actual tank commander. It's as if you're standing outside the turret. You've got no longer a very wide field of view, so you're going to have to turn your head around every which way to make sure that you are covered by teammates And one thing you have to look out for is smoke, is, you know, gunpowder, muzzle flashes. Look out for all these things when you're playing in realistic, or excuse me, simulator mode, because they're going to be the telltale signs that there's an enemy tank nearby, and you need to keep your eyes open for that. And of course, just like with realistic mode, you have to be extremely cautious of your surroundings, of your flanks, of your rear. Keep your head on a swivel and pay attention to your minimap, because they will give you signs to where the enemy tanks are. And just keep your eyes about, you know, don't be just sitting in one spot. I know you want to be cautious, but get your ass moving out there, get those points capped, get those tank kills. But once again, I have to stress, you need to be super cautious in simulator battles, because like I said, you can no longer see where your enemy is with those little labels hovering over their heads. You have to physically see them, so that can be a little bit challenging first time around. But once you play simulator battles over and over again, you'll start to see a pattern emerge of where the enemies will go, what type of tanks they're going to be going up against, the muzzle flashes that reveal their position immediately, allowing you to take a shot on them. So that is pretty much the differences of the game modes in terms of gameplay, in terms of play styles. Let me know in the comment section down below if you found this video useful. Let me know if you play arcade, do you play simulator mode, do you play realistic battles? Let me know why. And thank you again for watching, lads, it's always appreciated. This is Billy the Kid. I hope you find this video useful. If you did, leave your feedback in the comment section down below. Subscribe for more if you're new, and I'll see you again, lads, and thank you again for watching.